Good morning YouTube, and we are here with a final monotype run in Johto for today. We are doing the Psychic type, and in Gen 1, Psychic type was incredibly good. In Gen 2, they added some good ones, but not as good as Gen 1. Like, genuinely not as good as Gen 1. And that might be a problem, considering honestly, these monotype runs I've been doing in Gen 2 have been way harder than Gen 1 ones were. We're going to start off today with Natu, the Psychic Flying type, as our starter. And we're going to call it Finish Alien after our subscriber Finish Alien. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. Let's get started with this run. Now you might be wondering, why have I started off with Natu out of all the Psychic types that are available in this generation? Like, we know that Smoochum from the previous video can beat Falconer on its own. Well, I just decided something different, and to be honest, Natu might have exactly what we need to get through just Falconer on its own. I mean, with flying type moves alone, it should have enough to get through Bugsy as well. Because yeah, with being a Psychic flying type, we will get moves like Peck to start off with. But we also might be able to pick up some other Pokemon just before we even get the first gym. We might, well, let's see what we find anyway. So yeah, once we've been to Mr. Pokemon's house, we can head back down to face the rival for the first time. And this rival, we are going to make ourselves have a little bit of an easier time. We will take off the berry so that we don't do that mistake again with the held items. And there we go, let's get started. We're going to give him Chikorita to start off with, just to give ourselves a little bit of an easier time in this earlier game. Peck was just going to decimate that Chikorita, and we head through back to Professor Elm. And, oh god, we hit another Sentry. I really should have went the top route there. Anyway, you might be wondering, what is the first Pokemon we're going to pick up after this? Well, we'll name our rival first, who is going to be Graham Geraghty. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, you're going to be our rival for today. Let's get started properly with this run now. And, you know, I'm actually going to see if we can beat Falconer, well, the Birdkeeper Ray before we even get our first Pokemon. We do start off with Peck and Leah, but it's not enough to work with even at level 7, and I don't think it'll be enough to work with even at level 9. So we do need an extra Pokemon, and if you go to the Ruins of Elf, you can pick up one of the signature Pokemon from Johto. But to get that Pokemon, we first need to solve a little puzzle, and that's going to be the Kabuto puzzle. And this is incredibly easy if you know what you're doing. I mean, I remember playing this as a kid in Gen 2. And I got this wrong so many times. I can tell you what really threw me off was the placement of the eyes. Like, I thought the eyes were the other way around, and I would never understand what was actually different. And also the little feet at the bottom two tiles there, they also really throw you off. They're actually the other way around, which is kind of, it throws you off because they look like they should work there. But in the Ruins of Elves, we can pick up an Unknown, and this is a truly terrible Pokemon. We are going to call our Unknown for today after our subscriber Naf93. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. And I hope you don't mind being this kind of awful Pokemon, but I needed somebody to be it. We'll put you in as a rival or Pokemon for a future video as well, just to make up for it, but yeah. And the thing with Unknown, it only learns, well, technically 2 moves. It learns the move Hidden Power, which has a random typing assigned to it depending on your stats, and we need to try and figure out what typing that is at first. And considering we're dealing out not effective damage against Bellsprouts, that limits it to a few of them. I mean, it could be like the grass type, the poison type at this stage, it could be the water type, because the colour, strangely enough, did not indicate which one of the 2 it would be, or which one of the 3. So we go into this fight with Pidgey, and that also is resisted, and that kind of makes me lean more towards it being Hidden Power Grass, which could not be the worst. I could not have a worse Hidden Power for this generation. It is genuinely the worst typing in this generation. Oh, either way, let's see how we do. We've got both Pokemon up to level 9, and oh my god, we are just dealing out so little damage with Hidden Power. If this definitely is Hidden Power Grass, we'll find out for definite after this gym. But either way, Finish Alien can come in and get the win with the Pecks, and that means we can head into the Falconer fight, see how we do here. Considering we're not doing that much damage with Unknown at the moment, this is going to be an unusual one. So we're going to start off with Finish Alien just to try and take out the Pidgey on its own. From there, we then switch into Adhere and try and get the win there, just for a little bit of experience. And we try and deal out as much damage as possible with just Hidden Power, which isn't going to be very much whatsoever. Unknown, unless you get the right Hidden Power, is truly an awful Pokemon. Now, I did allude earlier to it has 2 moves technically, and the other move is going to be Struggle. Yeah. And that might be the better strategy for this Unknown for the rest of this run, but still, this is not very good. Second time round, we switch into using Unknown first just to try and deal out as much damage as possible against the Pidgey, meaning we can then one-shot the Pidgey with Peck on Natu. We also learn Nightshade level 10, which we cannot use in this gym because it doesn't hit normal types, and Pidgey is flying normal. The way we get through this though, we need to get a couple of layers off, hopefully tank the gust damage and outspeed that Pidgeotto to get the Pecks in. And it is, there we go, I've proven that you can beat Falkner with a Psychic team at the level cap. And my god, I am... Let's see if it definitely is Hidden Power Grass anyway. So we've got against Wooper, and that is super effective, so yeah. I'm heavily leaning it towards being Hidden Power Grass here now. If we go against some Rock Ground types, that would just confirm it as well. Because I don't think there's anything that is super effective against Wooper apart from the Grass type. And we are one-shotting all these with super effective hits, so yeah, let's concede this as our Unknown has Hidden Power Grass. The absolute worst Hidden Power we could have had for this challenge. So yeah. That means we can then progress into Azalea Town, and with Azalea Town there are a lot of poison types you need to deal with the Rocket Side Quest bit. After that though, we also have the Grass Gym to contend with, and this is a problem for a Psychic type team. And that all again comes down to the Cypher. The Cypher has Fury Cutter, which is an accumulation move, but it's also the Bug type, which we are weak to. Thankfully, this is another good reason why we started off with Natu, because with that Flying type, it will be neutral. So the first Pokemon he's going to send out is the Metapod, and we are just going to go for Pecks because it's super effective and they can't really do too much against us. We are going in at level 16 here at the level cap, just because I think that's what we need to make this possible. Thankfully we can get through the Cypher no problem, and this makes me so happy that I started off with Natu. Natu's level up moveset is honestly not that great. You do get Future Sight, you do get Psybeam and Psychic, but they are very late on in the game that you will get them. So a lot of the game is going to be conceded to using Peck and Nightshade. And that's not the greatest moveset to be using. So hopefully we can pick up some new Pokemon soon, but we need to beat the Azalea Town rival first, and this rival is by far the hardest rival fight in the entire game. Especially if you're doing one of these challenges, trust me, it is one of the hardest fights. When the Bayleaf comes out, I'm so glad again that I chose him to have Bayleaf, because we would not have made it through that fight if not, especially with Unknown having Hidden Power Grass. I will not shut up for the rest of this video of how unlucky I was to get that certain Hidden Power when there are 15, 16, 17 other types that it could have been. Although Hidden Power, strange enough, cannot be the normal type. If you didn't know that. I mean, normal's not super effective against anything, so why would you want Hidden Power normal? But either way. Brings us into Goldenrod, we can see how we do against Whitney. Now Whitney is not going to be too bad. Like, she hits hard, and Psychic types in this generation are generally very defensively weak. But if we can at least take out the Clefairy with just our Unknown, that's fine. We're at level 20 already, we'll get taken down straight away, but that leaves it all on our Natu. We get a couple of layers off, and we can also use the move Swift, but yeah, that did not work out pretty well. And because the breeding centre, I guess, what is it, the daycare centre is very close to Goldenrod, I feel like this is the great time to actually add a Smoochum to our team. It is an Ice Psychic type baby Pokemon, and because we're going to do the same as we did in every single video so far, any baby Pokemon that evolve into a Gen 1 Pokemon, we are not going to use them whatsoever, so they will stay as their baby forms. And I feel that's a fair compromise. Our Smoochum for today is going to be called Imatic. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, and trust me, you are going to make a huge contribution to this team. there are some baby Pokemon that are just built differently to the others. Tyrogue is awful. I recommend never doing a Tyrogue solo run, because I did it right at the start of the Johto solo run challenges and I absolutely hated my choice. Either way. We are putting pretty much everything down on Smoochum for this fight, with it having access to Ice Punch from the Goldenrod department store. From there we can actually hopefully get a freeze, and I don't see any other way past this fight unless we can. The next Pokemon I want to pick up you cannot get until after you've beaten Goldenrod, so we have to beat them here with these 3 Pokemon. And that's a big problem. Thankfully this time around, Unknown manages to take down the Clefairy again. We go into Miltank, where we at least get a Leer or 2 off, and that's what we're really hoping on, is we get better luck with this. After we've been hit by 2 rollouts, we then switch into Imatic, and the Miltank hits itself in confusion. That's absolutely perfect. From there we can hit it with 2 Ice Punches and get the badge. This is why we needed Smoochum, just to make this possible. So with 3 gym badges in tow, we can then head over to Ecruteak City, and we can smash Psychic Greg in the face. Before we do that, he's got a Psychic type from Kanto. Just, again, why has he got a Cantonian Psychic type when there are plenty of perfectly good Jotonian Psychic types? Honestly, I think he's got the brains here, because Jotonian Psychic types are not that great. Apart from this next one we are going to pick up. Because once you've been to Ecruteak City and you've met Bill for the first time, you can head back to Goldenrod City and pick yourself up an Eevee. Yes, I know what you're saying, Eevee is a Gen 1 Pokemon, but one of its evolutions is a Gen 2. So we're twisting the rules a little bit, because usually we're only starting off with the Jotonian Pokemon, but still, I definitely need an Espeon on my team. We are going to call our Eevee Nothing Nowhere. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, and let's see our Espeon and how it does. So Espeon is just hands down going to be one of the best players on our team here. It's powerful, it's fast, and it also gets confusion upon evolution. So we're going to sweep through Morty's gym pretty comfortably with this Pokemon, but it's not going to be an easy ride, because the Ghost type is super effective against the Psychic type. So we are going to take some big hits here. Once we've taken down all the trainers in this gym, because they're all mandatory and that's really annoying, we can see how we do against the big man himself. Now I am going to get rid of Sand Attack for this run, because I don't think I'm going to need it, but we'll see how we do. Morty, of course, is going to start off with his only Ghost Pokemon line that he uses, and that is the Cantonian line, Ghastly. He could have used Misdreavus, but oh well. What can you do? The game's already been out like 25 odd years now. Anyway, Espeon just goes absolutely mental in this. Confusion damage everywhere. We hit the level cap and go level 26, and now the level cap increases to 30. If we'd started with Espeon, we'd have had a much easier time getting to this point, but still, I'm so glad we've now got an Espeon on the team. After going to Olivine City and starting off the Secret Potion side quest, we can head over to Cyanwood and pick it up. And with the fighting gym being on this island, we might as well see if we can get an easier win than normal. Because Chuck in these videos, especially with these Monotype runs, Chuck's honestly being a decently hard challenge. Like, midway through the game, he actually puts up a pretty good challenge against you. So we should be fine though. We've got Anato who resists it for like a quad time, but no one who is there. Smoochum who can freeze people, and Espeon who will just be our big backup if we really get to a bad position. Honestly, don't skip on Smoochum as well. For a baby Pokemon in this generation, it's actually really powerful when you give it the right moves. So that probably will help us out for Chuck. Let's see how we do here. Hope you guys are really enjoying the month for Retrobrown so far. We're halfway through with this episode, and the Monotype runs have been really fun. But after today, we're going to start seeing some very different challenges. Now, if you watched last year in December, we did a few types of challenges. We did anime character challenges where we took their anime team to see if they could actually win the game with them. We also decided to look at other ones as well, where we did like starter only challenges, legendary bird challenges. We did the evolutions challenge and the worst Pokemon team challenge as well. I'm going to see how we do with them. But I'm also going to throw in some single move challenges as well. Now, if you've been chatting to me in the comments over the past year, you know exactly which 4 moves that I'm going to try and see if I can beat the game with. And it's going to be painful. At the time of recording of this video, I have not actually started any of these challenges, but I'm also recording this back in August, so I've got plenty of time to get it sorted. But with some of the challenges, I'm not sure I'm gonna. They might take so much time that they might still be going on December before the videos launch. We'll soon find out. Anyway, Chuck is really not that much of a problem. We have lost against him a couple of times because that Poliwrath is kind of annoying, and we are underleveled for this gym. Dynamic Punch is super effective. Well, not super effective, it's neutral against Smoochum. So we're really relying on Espeon to try and get us the win here. But as soon as we get put to sleep, we are in a bad position. After that, though, Espeon can get us the clutch win, and we pick up Dynamic Punch. And I think Smoochum can learn this. This might be something we need to rely on later on. But we got 5 badges in tow. Level cap has gone up to level 31. And we can use Fly now. Thankfully, this gives Natu a much better move to be using, and we also get an evolution out of it. Natu evolves into Xatu, and we can head back to Olivine City, throw the Secret Potion down Amphi's throat, and do we go against Jasmine now? With a Psychic type team, not very much to work with. This would probably be an incredible feat to do it well under the level cap. I don't know whether I can, but I'm also a bit of a masochist. Let's give it a go. So the big problem with this is Steel is pretty good against Psychic. Thankfully, we still have the move Mud Slap that we didn't teach earlier on. Big problem with that as well, though. As soon as you get paralyzed by the Magnemites, you're really on a downward trajectory. Plus, Espeon with Mud Slap doesn't even do half damage, and we're nearly at Magnemite's level. So what can we do? Well, we can switch into Smoochum, and again, get immediately paralyzed. This is what I hate about this fight, is the paralysis from Thunder Wave on these guys. And I genuinely think this is the only reason why she put Magnemites on a team, is to get the paralysis off. Where she could have used Steel Pokemon such as Forretress, she could have used Scizor, she could have used Steelix, well, she does use Steelix, Skarmory, and then she uses Magnemites. Yes, I know they're available in the route above, but still, this makes it so difficult. It's not even the fact that Steelix is extremely powerful with Iron Tail. It's more the Magnemites that I find annoying with this fight, and we do take a loss. So what can we do differently? Well, we're really just hoping for misses on Thunder Wave, which this time around we actually get 2 of in the first two turns. That brings us into the second Magnemite, and again we get even more lucky. This is why Mud Slap, even with 20 base power, is such a crucial move to a lot of runs in Johto. Just that accuracy drop alone gives you so much to work with. So, well, not so much, it gives you a chance, and that's about it. After Espeon goes down, we switch into Naf to try and get a little bit of damage off. It didn't happen, and we have to switch into Xatu. Thankfully, this is where Nightshade actually does really well. But the problem here, she's now going to use a Hyper Potion because we couldn't take her out. So, what can we do here? We're going to try and use Sing to put Steelix to sleep because we do outspeed it. And from here, Ice Punch should hopefully take it out in a few more hits. And there we go. And a Psychic type team has beaten the Steel type gym leader. But that was difficult, and honestly, that took me probably about 10 or 12 tries to get the right look there. And it all came down to the Magnemites using Thunder Wave. If you can get past them using Thunder Wave, you've got a chance to win that fight. With that being said though, we can now progress on to Mahogany Town, and I think it's time to pick up a new team player. So let's head to the north of Mahogany Town, and in the grass you can find Girafarig, the normal Psychic type Pokemon from this generation, who gets an evolution in Gen 9. Yes, we waited 25 years to get an evolution for Girafarig. How weird is that? Jay Lawson, you are going to be our Girafarig for today. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Really appreciate you being here. And this brings us into the Red Gyarados fight. Now, the Red Gyarados fight, it's not too bad apart from the fact that it uses Dragon Rage a lot. But we've got a team of 5 that can hopefully tank a lot of damage from it and just chip away because he has no way to recover his HP. I'd rather use physical moves in this fight because, my god, we are just taking tons of damage here. And the fact that he has Bite as well, I'd rather see Dragon Rage just take us out in 2 hits instead. Oh my god, Unknown has just done nothing for this run, really. Hopefully we might see 1 or 2 fights later where Unknown actually manages to contribute. And yeah, you can have a go at me if you really want to about how much I'm trashing on Unknown, but it is pretty bad when you get the wrong hidden power. I've been debating for a long time what's the best hidden power to have for this generation, and I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the best hidden power would be for this generation. I mean, we can always speculate and say, oh, because of the amount of, like, X amounts of fights of this type in this generation, this would be the best. But I don't think I've ever actually seen anyone on YouTube try it and see which one actually is. Like, this might be a new series that I do in the new year, where I try and see whether Unknown, using different hidden powers, can actually beat the game. Because at this point, I've also never done an Unknown solo run. So, because it's such a unique Pokemon with only having this one move, and you'd have to rely on Struggle if not, I'm tempted. It would be a series that would take a long time, I think. But, I don't know, I've never seen anyone else do this on YouTube, and it might be something that's worth doing. Let me know down in the comments, because who wants to see, I mean, there's 15 odd types, who wants to see 15 Unknown videos? That could be a very tedious series to watch. Anyway, enough talking, let's see how we do against Price, the Ice-type gym leader. And for once, Unknown Hidden Power Grass actually found its little niche in this run. It manages to take out the Seal, and then get immediately taken out by Dugong. It's one fight where it had a little bit of an advantage, and it still couldn't match up. I mean, we are still underleveled under the level cap at level 35, but we still get to rely on SP on a lot. Now, I haven't talked about Girafarig since we've caught it. It is a decent Pokemon with having Psychic and Normal typing. Means that it can't be hit by Ghost type, so it removes that immunity. But it also has a neutrality now to the fighting type. What it's also better at is being a physical attacker in this generation rather than a special attacker, so we can actually use it for a bit of offensive bulk, whereas the rest of our team pretty much are going to be special attackers. We take down Price pretty comfortably and head into the Rocket side quest, which for probably the first time in this video, this series anyway, it has actually been the easiest it's ever been. The majority of all Rocket trainers use Poison-type Pokemon, which is perfect for us because we can just use our Psychic-type moves to sweep through every single fight. Even the guy with 5 Coffins and a Weezing at the top of the radio tower, we just sweep through with Confusions, and this is why I actually found this is a good place to do some training for this because the level cap is now 40. But annoyingly, Xatu has still not got a Psychic-type move. And we are, what, level 30, 31? We still don't have a Psychic-type move. We've got Nightshade, Peck, Leer, and Fly. And we haven't even picked up one Psychic-type move. This is why the Xatu line is really weird. We even bring in our Unknown to get at least one KO against one of the Coffins before it gets immediately taken out by 2 Sludges. Oh, this is putting it all on our Girafarig, who does have Confusion, but we've also got Return. Return's dealing out decent damage, but Confusion will deal out way more in this situation. A lot of the Coffins and Weezings do not have great special defense, and that's why we can sweep out with more Psychic-type moves than physical. We take him down on the first try, and that means we've got another rival fight in the Underground. And this one's going to be a difficult one as well, even though we've got a built-out team. This is still going to be a difficult fight. I mean, fine, he starts off with Golbat, but he one-shots our Smoochum straight away. So we need to switch into Finish Alien. Hopefully we can get a few chip damage with Nightshade, but we are quite underleveled for this fight. I was trying to do this run at as low level as I can, and I don't know whether that really helped me out in the best of situations. Magnemite can take out Finish Alien pretty comfortably with a Thunder Shock. So we've either got... We're just going to go into our Espeon Mud, slap it down, and then Sneasel comes out. Now, Sneasel would be a threatening Pokemon for us. Yes, it does have Faint Attack, but it's special. Dark is a special type Dark type moves in this generation are special type, which is not Sneasel's forte, it's a physical attacker. So when it uses Feint Attack, it does barely any damage even though it's super effective. That then brings us into the Meganium, and we have 2 Pokemon left, so I'm going to switch into... Oh, I've even got J Lawson, I've got Naff here. We're going to Razor... Oh my god, Razor Leaf for the one-shot. Okay, it is all on Girafarig here. Can we get the flinches? Can we take it out from here? Thankfully we can. We tank a Razor Leaf, and we get the win against Graham Garrity. Oh, that was difficult. And you know, before we go to the top of the radio tower again, I think it's worth going to pick up our last Pokemon. Yes, you might have noticed on the right, that 6th slot has been open for quite a while. Now, which Pokemon is this going to be? Now, if you're very familiar with Gen 2 and Psychic types here, there is only one more Psychic type that we can pick up. I mean, we could pick up Lugia or Celebi, but I don't use legendaries for these runs. Which Pokemon we are going to pick up, though, is going to be Wobbuffet. Now, Wobbuffet is an interesting character. Like, Wobbuffet is a gimmick Pokemon through and through. It gets Counter, Mirror Coat, Safeguard, and Destiny Bond. It is actually going to be the key to this run, for once. In a solo run, I proved that Wobbuffet, I couldn't get past Blue. It's the only Pokemon Johto so far that I've done a run with, and it's the only one that couldn't actually beat the game so far out of 70 odd Pokemon runs. I still haven't done an unknown run, so we'll soon find that out in the future, and there's still 29 other Pokemon after that which could also possibly not beat the game. Let's go pick up our Wobbuffet after we've gone through here. You have to go through Union Cave, Surf to get to it, to this little patch here, and it has to be a very certain time. Well, I don't think it has to be a certain time of day, but it's a very low encounter rate. When we do finally find it though, after quite a lot of time of running around in the grass, we have our Wobbuffet for the run. And yes, I am using Master Balls to catch him. Put your hate down in the comments, I don't care. Our Wobbuffet for this run is going to be called Dishy9. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. But I don't have a 9 I can put in here, so it's just going to be Dishy. Let's get started with the final stages of the Rocket side quest. And it's the whole reason that why I wanted Wobbuffet for this, because final Pokemon in this is going to be Houndoom, who uses both Dark and Fire type moves. And yeah, Wobbuffet is just going to be a great player for this team. So let's get started with this. We start off with going against Houndour. We have our Girafarig up, who's going to take a lot of damage from that Dark type attack. Wow. Brings us into Houndoom, and hopefully we can get one off, but we couldn't because Feint Attack comes out. We're going to go into Finish Alien here. We're going to go for a Fly, hopefully get around some of its moves. And it looks like 2 Flies will take down the Houndoom, so we don't have to... Oh no, it's a low roll. But it's on low HP, so we can bring in Nothing Nowhere, who can outspeed, get the win with Headbutt. And then it's just a Coffin to deal with, which one simple confusion can get us the win for. Dishy will have its time in the sun, but not yet. We have got our full team of 6 now. There are no more evolutions to come from this team. So we're going to head over to the 8th gym and hopefully get the 8th badge. But the problem with this gym, Dragon is also a special type move in this generation as well. So this is why it's perfect to start using Mirror Coat from Dishy. They use Dragon Rage once on us. We can Mirror Coat and deal out massive damage. And this is where Wobbuffet actually comes into its own. It's a great Pokemon for this gym, and we'll see how it does in the Clair fight. So Clair's got 4 Pokemon, 3 Dragonairs and a Kingdra, which actually is a full Dragon type team compared to what Lads has. So we're going to start off with Dishy to hopefully get some big damage out after the Surfs with Mirror Coat. And we can at least take out maybe 1, maybe 2 of the Dragonairs before we actually get taken down. Thunderbolt as well is a special type move, so we can at least... Oh, we tried to get a Destiny Bond in to try and take out the second, but it's done its work. It managed to take out at least 1 of the Dragonairs. Unknown comes in, and Invade only does a tiny bit of chip damage, so we're down 2 Pokemon to our 2 Pokemon as well. This means we've got 3 Pokemon left to try and take out the rest of our team, and we're going to go for the Mud Slaps, hopefully, to make sure we can chip away at it and not get paralysed, which is just great. I absolutely love Thunder Wave. It is my favourite move in this generation. Note the sarcasm in my voice. We managed to take down the 3rd Dragonair, and that brings into Kingdra, but Hyper Beam takes us down. Thankfully though, we can bring in our Smoochum, hopefully get a Sing off. We managed to get a Sting and a Sweet Kiss off before starting to use Ice Punch. Now we need to take it down as much as possible because then it'll waste her a recovery potion. And from there, it's still asleep. Annoyingly, she uses a full heal, and this is probably where we're going to lose our Smoochum. But thankfully, it's still confused, so we can still get some chip damage in before putting him back to sleep. This is why Smoochum is so integral to this team, because of the status moves that it gets. Do not skip on a Smoochum. You will thank yourself if you do a Psychic Monotype run. And with all their gym badges, that means we can finally head off to the league to see if this Psychic type team of Johto Mons only can actually beat this game. We get the Dragon Fang to finally get the badge, which is another annoying little diversion you need to do. And then we will head off to the league. With that saying though, we also need to pick up some other moves. We can pick up the TM for Earthquake, which will go straight on our Girafarig. Yes, Girafarig can learn Earthquake. Thank God it can, because it's going to become so useful. And that means our final fight with our rival, Graham Geraghty. Give him a big round of applause, because he's been a great rival for this run. And it's given me a lot of problems, especially in Azalea Town and in the Underground. From here, Jay Lawson can then just start sweeping through the first couple of Pokemon. We got confused by Golbat, and then we get taken down nearly by Leech Life, but we take down the Golbat before we get put into the Magneton. Now, annoyingly, we were kind of confused, but we managed to push through to get an Earthquake out, and Girafarig has really come into its own in this fight. It's taken out the half of the team, and we've only got to there. We've only just brought in our Espeon, where 2 Headbutts can take down Kadabra, and then Haunter comes out. We get hit by a Future Sight, which, even though it's technically a Psychic type move in this generation, it only deals out typeless damage. That then brings in the final Pokemon, Meganium, and from here we can Mud Slap to give ourselves an easy win. But that comes at a bit of a cost, because even if you get the Mud Slaps up, you just need to start using moves like Shadow Ball to lower special defense, because Meganium is very bulky. It's designed to be a more defensively oriented Pokemon this generation, and we finally get the win against it, bringing us into the Pokemon League. And this is where the run gets incredibly difficult. We pick up our potions and we head into the Will fight, and even Will being a Psychic type trainer, we need to prove that we are the better Psychic type trainer in this region, and that's going to come in the very first fight against Will. Once we picked up our potions, we can head in and see how we do. So Will's taking a leaf out of our book and he is using a Xatu. We're going to go straight in with Imatic, our Smoochum, to get a one-shot with Ice Punch. We are confused, so we are... Oh man, it's Smoochum v Jinx. This is interesting. We managed to actually push through confusion and get a Sing off, and then a Sweet Kiss. This gives us a lot to work with, but both of our other attacking moves are not going to deal out much damage. Psychic is doing barely anything, Ice Punch just about as much, and then we've got Stab bonus on them as well. Annoyingly, the Jinx wakes up, we manage to get it back to sleep oh no, we don't get it back to sleep. Confusion damage takes it out and we manage to get the Slowbro to sleep. That's perfect, because if we can get a Sweet Kiss up, we can switch out here if need be. And we're going to go straight into Naf. Now this is one of the few Pokemon this Hidden Power Grass actually has a good matchup against, because Grass is super effective against Slowbro with it being a Water Psychic type. Annoyingly though, it does start setting up the curses, which doesn't really affect our Hidden Power Grass because it's special. And, oh, Body Slam does a lot of damage. Can Naf actually do this? No, it can't. And again, only a Seal is the only thing we've taken out so far with this unknown. We take it out with our own Xatu, and that brings in his Xatu. We can then start using Fly to deal out decent damage, but Confuse Ray just hit us, and that's not great. Nightshade is going to deal out consistent damage, and it gets us the win against the Xatu. That just leaves the Executor, and this is why we needed Natu, because Fly is super effective against Executor, and we get at least 3 hits in before getting the win. And there we go, that's Will beaten first time, which I was not expecting. Let's see how we do against Koga. Now with Koga having majority a poison type team, you'd think we do really well here. Well, there's some Pokemon that are going to be an issue here. Biggest problem is going to be that Forretress. Now Forretress, we can't hit with Psychic type moves for super effective damage. It's a poison. Not poison. It's a Bug Steel type, and with massive defenses, Finish Alien is the best Pokemon to go against this one. We do get taken out by Explosion, and that means the next Pokemon coming out, we need to switch into our Girafarig. Psychics aren't going to do much damage to us, but Earthquake can hit Venomoths. Annoyingly, we're just going to use Confusion, and we might just take it down with 3 hits. That brings us into the Muck, and we can use Earthquake here, even though it's quite defensively bulky. Confusion will deal out just as much damage, but we get Toxic, which is never a great scenario for this fight. But that finally brings in the Crobat, and this Crobat is fast, and it likes to spam double team. If we can't get through this double team, we've wasted the full potion, full restore now. Yeah, I think Girafrig's going to get taken down after this from the poison, so that means we've got 4 Pokemon left to see if we can take down this Crobat. And I decide to go into Dishy. With this, we can then use Counter and take it out in 1 hit. Counter ignores any... I'm pretty sure it ignores any of the accuracy lowering or increases, so whether you get hit by a move or not, it takes it down pretty comfortably. And that brings us into Bruno. This should be the easiest fight we have in the Elite Four. So Bruno, of course, is the fighting type trainer, if you did not know this after so many years, like quarter of a century. Psychic types will just sweep through this team pretty comfortably. We even Onyx comes out, which honestly would have been the good matchup for Unknown in this with Hidden Power Grass. But Earthquake does massive damage to our Espeon. We managed to take down a lot of the Hitmonchan's HP before getting taken down ourselves by Mach Punch. And it's time to bring in Nafia, who is going to hopefully take out this Hitmonchan on its own and have some contribution to the team for once. We take down the Hitmonchan and then get immediately taken out by Hitmonlee. So we switch into Dishy, who is then going to get swaggered. And that's not a great scenario. We also cannot get Counter off because of the Confusion. We hit ourselves with Confusion loads of times. And a high jump kick finally takes us down. I was hoping for a Destiny Bomb because we haven't managed to hit it off yet. And then also Smoochum gets taken down. This is looking really, really bad now. We've got all the way to Hitmonlee, and the Hitmonlee's attack is that good, it just starts sweeping our team. Confusion is not enough to deal that much damage against the Machamp, and Cross Chop will one-shot us from there. It's all on Finish Alien here, who's got a quad resistance to the fighting type. Final Fly gets us the win, but that actually came a lot closer than I was expecting. Karen is out next, and this is the hard fight. With her having a full Dark team, or at least 3 of her 5 Pokemon as the Dark type, and yeah, this is not going to go too well for our Psychic types. Espeon can just not match up to an Umbreon. Umbreon is far superior compared to the 2. Just from typing alone, it can easily take it out. So we need to switch into Imatic here to try and get the Sings off, hopefully get a Freeze and Confusion. And we need to try and take it down with Ice Punch because Psychic will not hit the Dark type. From here, we can finally take down the Umbreon, and that brings us into the Houndoom. Now this is a big problem. This is a very, very tough player on her team, and this is the whole reason why I wanted Dishy on the team. It's going to use its Dark type and its Fire type moves, but one Crunch even from this range can take us down. We're in a very bad position here because I was hoping to use Wobbuffet to take down the Houndoom. We've literally got nothing that can outspeed it and nothing that can deal up to it. So only thing I can think of, we need to level up. So we go up to level 45 here, and with that we also get some new moves. We get Perish Song for our Smoochum, which I've never used in any of the other videos, so might be interesting to see if that actually makes a difference here. First fight goes pretty much the same. We get the Umbreon taken down with Smoochum, and then Houndoom comes out. I was hoping I could at least get a Perish Song or a Sing Off, but the Houndoom still outspeeds us. From here, we're going to go into J-Loss, who can now tank... Oh, I was going to say tank it, but it can't apparently. Can Wobbuffet tank a Crunch? Yes, decently, but Miracle did not proc. And I'm not sure why there. It should have hit it there, and I'm not too sure why not. Crunch is technically a Dark type move, which is special in this generation, so Miracle in theory should have hit it. So I'm not too sure why not there. Please let me know down in the comments as for why, because everything I know about this game, that should have hit on Miracle. We get put into the Houndoom once again. We know that Smoochum's not got much else to do in this fight. So this time I'm going to go for Destiny Bond. As long as we can take out that Houndoom, the rest of the fight should be fine. And Destiny Bond works. This is the whole reason why I wanted it. Then we then switch into our Unknown, who gets taken down immediately to Murkrow, which is fine because Unknown is really not contributing much to this team at all. 1 strength from our Girafarig doesn't even take out the Murkrow. We can then use Psybeam on the Gengar, take it down after we've been cursed, and that just leaves the Vileplume, and we're in a good position now. Curse damage does decent against us, and then Paddle Dance kills us off. We've still got 2 Pokemon to deal out every bit of damage we need for this Vileplume. So that took a lot of tries. We're talking in double figures to be able to beat Karen there with this sort of team. I wonder how many times it'll take for the champion. Let's see how we do. So Lance, of course, has got a flying type team. Yes, I know he's supposed to be the dragon type trainer. I will not stop making this a little bit of a joke. Pretty much we want to try and deal out as much damage as possible with our Unknown before any of our other Pokemon come in, and we were actually hoping for that Hyper Beam there. Reason why, now they have a recharge turn. We were hoping to have hit this thing on the recharge turn, but we didn't. But 2 Psychics once it's asleep will take down the Gyarados from this range. That then pushes them to bring in Charizard. And Hyper Beam will one-shot us from here, but again that pushes in the recharge turn. So which Pokemon is the best to switch into here? Well, I decided to go into our Girafarig. Girafarig can deal out decent damage here, but Flamethrower is dealing out a lot of damage. Man, we're 2 Pokemon in and we still haven't taken out most of his team. We bring in Espeon to get the win against the Charizard, and that then brings in the first Dragonite. Now we're hoping that Thunder Wave does not hit here. It does on the second, and then Hyper Beam hits on the 3rd turn. But we managed to take it down. We're pretty even on our teams right now, although this isn't looking great. So what we're going to do, we're going to switch into our Wobbuffet, and hopefully with putting up a safeguard we won't get paralysed. But we can also start using Mirror Coat, which can deal out damage back on Twister because it's a Dragon type move, and then he decides to use Hyper Beam. I then go for the Destiny Bond, which manages to take out the Dragonite, so at least we managed to do that. But now it's Aerodactyl versus Xatu, and we've got a weakness to Rock Slide. So this goes pretty much exactly as you expect. Let's try this again. So with this, starting off with Naf is definitely the best play. Dealing out that chip damage on Gyarados is pretty much all it can do. And if at least we can get down to half HP, that's alright. But we managed to only get down to 2/3 of its HP. This time around, we're going to go into Finish Alien, who can get a Confuse Ray off. And then use Fly to try and get some confusion hits on the Gyarados. It takes itself down to very low HP, and a Nightshade switches it out. That then brings in the Dragonite, where we can outspeed now at level 50 and get a Confuse Ray off. With the Confusion up, it means it hits itself Confusion quite a bit, and also we're getting very lucky on the amount of misses that from Thunder Wave here. Thunder also hits us in the air and paralyzes us, which is just fantastic. And again, Twister can also hit you in the air if you didn't know that. We've also taught Blizzard to our Smoochum, so it can deal out 4 quad-effective damage on the Dragonite. And when the Charizard comes out, we switch into Girafarig, who pretty much is just used as a sack Pokemon here. We then bring in our Wobbuffet, who's hopefully going to try and get some big damage back with Mirror Coat, and we get a one-shot after a Flamethrower. Brings in Dragonite, and we're hoping for the Hyper Beam counters, but we managed to at least get a safeguard up after we've been paralysed. Great. Hyper Beam takes us down to low HP, and we predicted it right. We take down the Dragonite with a counter, and then Dishy goes down. We're 2 against 2 now, but this is oh, this is not good. It's 1v. Can Espeon do this? This is all on Espeon right now. We get a critical hit Psychic to take it down, and it's 1v1. Espeon versus Dragonite. Who is going to win here? Psychic is doing just over half HP, and we get a high roll on Psychic to get the win. I was not imagining we'd have to be pushing it to level 50 to do this, but still, we've beaten the whole of the Johto League with this quite mediocre Psychic type team. But this is all we had to work with. Unknown, our Naf, Nothing Nowhere, our Espeon, Joseph Lawson, our Girafarig, Finish Alien, our Xatu, Dishy9, our Wobbuffet, and Imatic, our Smoochum. Did this at 8 hours 10 in-game minutes, which, not the worst, not the best either. With that being said, this isn't the end of the game. We still have Kanto to deal with, and of course that means the fights with Blue and Red. Both of them have got varied teams, Both of them have got a massive leap in the levels between the two of them. Yeah, this is going to be interesting, especially with an unknown on our team. Let's see how we do against Blue first, though, because he starts off with a Pidgeot, and I don't know which answer is going to be the best here. So Blue is where I actually failed the challenge at Wobbuffet Solar Run. Reason for that is because we didn't have enough HP to work with, even at level 100, to tank all the right hits and predict which of the moves he was going to go for. The first Pokemon out gets taken down by Blizzards, but Imatic's pretty much done its job here. We can then use Earthquake on Girafarig to deal out half damage on the Arcanine, but ideally we want to get at least 2 Earthquakes off to get this. From here we can then use Miracle on Arcanine to take it down, and that brings in Alakazam, who is mostly a special attacker, so we can spam the Miracles to just try and get the reflect damage on it, and we take it down to very low HP. From here, I was debating, do I go for Destiny Bond or do I go for Miracle again, and I chose right with Miracle. We've taken down 2 of his Pokemon with just Wobbuffet, and then we use Destiny Bond on the Rhydon. Perfect scenario, we've taken down 3 of his Pokemon with just Wobbuffet. In a team-based run, honestly I love using Wobbuffet, but on a solo run it was a nightmare. When Gyarados comes out, we switch into our Xatu, who's now finally learned Psychic. Or did I pick it up as a TM of Psychic in Saffron City? We'll never know at this point. And from here, we just try and deal out as much damage with Psychic. That's going to proc him into then putting out Exeggutor as the last Pokemon. And thankfully, we can use Fly to deal out super effective damage. We've also got a Confuse so it can deal out damage to itself, and that gives us enough to work with for Blue. That was a hard fight. I've shown you 1 attempt there, but that was definitely not a 1 attempt. That was probably 5 or 6 attempts to get it right. And that just leaves one final challenge for this this monotyped playlist that I've been creating over the past half a month. We go against Red with a full-on Psychic team. Now I know what you're saying. Pikachu should not be a problem. Or is it when it uses Thunder and it hits? Earthquake will one-shot it from there, but that then brings in Espeon, and this thing just is horrible for our team. Yes, we've got a Espeon ourselves, but my god, this thing walled us so badly. We've got nothing that is super effective against it. Absolutely nothing, apart from Shadow Ball on our own Espeon. But their Psychics from this Espeon are dealing out so much damage. Not one of our Psychic types can really match up to it. We get 2 Pokemon down before we've even taken it out, and we have to go Espeon v Espeon. We've taught our Espeon Flash though, which will become very useful later on, and 2 Shadow Balls managed to take down theirs. That then brings in Snorlax, and this thing is a problem. Very powerful physical attacker, and well, actually it's not going to be a problem. If we get hit by a Body Slam here, 1 counter should be able to take it out, or at least 2. So that's all we're hoping for, but the problem with Snorlax is it keeps using Rest, and that's a problem. Snores will deal out counter damage, but my god, we really struggled against this Snorlax. We managed to take it down to low HP after this final counter, and I was really hoping we outsped to get Destiny Bond in there. This then brings in Nafu, who immediately falls to 2 Body Slams and barely gets much chip damage off. Imatic comes out, and there is absolutely no way we're beating the entirety of this team with just this Smoochum at this level. So we need to try again, and we need to level up. We went all the way up to level 75, where Girafarig can finally outspeed that Pikachu. With going against the Espeon as well in these new levels, Earthquake can deal out bigger damage against the Espeon and hopefully get a win before it gets taken down, but we only get it down to half HP. That means we can now bring in our Espeon, who can finish off with Shadow Ball. That brings in Snorlax, where we're going to switch off, and we're going to go straight into... Oh man, which Pokemon's the best one here? We're going to go into Naf and see if we can get some chip damage. There's not really too much else that Naf can do in this fight, and we get taken down pretty quickly. Unknown, you are just awful. I really am not looking forward to doing an Unknown solo run. Dishu then comes out and gets at least about half damage off before the Snorlax rests back up. We need to get a bit lucky with this, or we need to rely on Destiny Bond. So I'm going to switch back out, and we're going to go into our Smoochum, who can at least tank a Snore. From here, we're going to go for Perish Song, and hopefully we'll see if this works or not. From here, we switch back into Wobbuffet, and we get the counter off from a Body Slam. We predicted that correctly, and he's either going to have to go for Body Slam, or he's going to have to try and rest back up. He went for the body slam, bringing us into Charizard, and this didn't really work out too well either. Charizard is very fast, is very powerful, and seems to be the worst player on this team to go against. We bring in Finish Alien, who can at least get half damage on taken from the flamethrower, and the confusion damage for once finally starts working in our favour. We get taken out finally though by the final flamethrower, and that just leaves everything on Espeon. And this is where Espeon really shines. We go for Psychics, which deal out big damage, at least half damage on the Blastoise. And as soon as we get past this Blastoise, we've got the easiest Pokemon in the entire team for us, and that's Venusaur, who's a Poison Grass type, and one Psychic gets us the win. So at level 75, our team of mediocre Psychic types really do pull through in the end, and prove we can complete it before the level cap. And that is the end of this playlist. Let's give a big thanks out to Joseph Lawson, our Girafarig, Nothing Nowhere, our Espeon, Finish Alien, our Xatu, Imatic, our Smoochum, Naf93, our Unknown, and Dishy9, our Wobbuffet. Also give a big shout out to Graham Geraghty, our rival for today. And that is it. The Johto Monotype runs are completed. Smash that like and subscribe, you legends, and we'll see you tomorrow for challenge runs. Take care.